Most people saw the gold medal. Most people saw the records. But nobody told you what actually happened behind the scenes. Nobody told you about the family that gave everything up. Nobody told you about the race that almost broke him. And nobody told you about the one stat that proves Quincy Wilson is not just the greatest high school track athlete alive right now. He might be the greatest who ever lived. By the time this is over, that medal is going to mean something completely different to you. Quincy Wilson was born on January 8, 2008, in Chesapeake, Virginia. He started running at 8 years old. Not because some coach recruited him. Not because his parents pushed him. He just ran. And from the very first race, something was different. By the time he was 14, he broke Obea Moore's 30-year-old under-14 national record in the 400 meters. A record that had survived for 3 decades fell to a kid who was still in middle school. That's when the people who really watch this sport started paying attention. But here's the part that never makes the highlight reels. His parents, Monique and Roy Wilson, made a decision that most families would never even consider. They packed up their lives and moved the entire family from Chesapeake, Virginia to Gaithersburg, Maryland. Not for a job, not for a house, but so their son could attend Bullis School in Potomac, Maryland. A private prep school with one of the most elite athletics programs in the country. His cousin Shania Hall had already graduated from Bullis in 2020 and went on to run track at the University of Oregon. Speed runs in this family. But the sacrifice his parents made to put him in that environment? That is the foundation everything else is built on. His freshman year 2023, he walked into the New Balance Indoor Nationals at 15 years old and beat a field full of juniors and seniors by more than half a second, winning in 46.67. Commentators couldn't believe what they were watching. Then his sophomore year, he went back and broke the indoor national record running 45.76 at 16 years old. But that was just the warm-up. June 2024, the U.S. Olympic trials in Indianapolis. The best 400-meter runners in the entire country. All professionals. All adults who had spent years building to this moment. Quincy Wilson lines up and runs 44.66 in the preliminaries. A 42-year-old high school record, gone. Just like that. 2 days later in the semifinals, he breaks his own record again, running 44.59. In the final, he finishes 6th overall with 44.94. 6th among the best quarter-milers in the United States, and he was still a sophomore in high school. He didn't make the individual 400-meter Olympic team that day. But he was added to the 4x400 relay pool, making him the youngest American male track and field Olympian in history at 16 years old. Then, 1 month later, July 19, 2024, at the Holloway Pro Classic in Gainesville, Florida, he lines up next to Bryce Deadman, a 27-year-old professional who had just made the Olympic team himself. They go neck and neck the entire race. Wilson crosses in 44.20. Deadman crosses in 44.23. A high school kid just beat a professional Olympic athlete by 0.03 of a second and set the under-18 world record for the 3rd time in 60 days. Paris 2024, the biggest stage on Earth. Wilson runs the opening leg of the 4x400 relay heat, splits 47.27, and hands off in 7th place. The coaches make the call. He doesn't run the final. Christopher Bailey, Vernon Norwood, Bryce Deadman, and Rai Benjamin take it from there and win gold in a new Olympic record of 2:54.43, just 0.14 seconds off the world record. Because Wilson ran the heat, he gets the medal too. At 16 years old, he becomes the youngest track and field athlete to win Olympic gold. But standing on that podium, knowing he didn't run the final, he used that as fuel. July 2025, Memphis, Tennessee, the Ed Murphy Classic. He lines up against Stephen Gardner, the 2021 Olympic 400-meter champion from the Bahamas, a high school kid against the reigning Olympic gold medalist. Wilson pulls away from Gardner in the final stretch and crosses the line in 44.10 seconds. The crowd goes completely silent before it erupts. That time made him the 4th fastest person in the entire world in 2025. Not 4th among teenagers, 4th overall. Only 29 athletes in the entire history of the sport have ever broken 44 seconds. He is 0.23 seconds away from joining that list while still in high school. 2026 arrived, and he wasn't done. At the New Balance Indoor Nationals, he went for his 4th straight national title, something almost no athlete has ever done in any sport. Jaden Delian pushed him all the way to the line. Wilson won by 0.01 seconds, running 45.37 and breaking his own national record in the most dramatic way possible. Then at the VA Showcase, he ran the 500 meters in 1:05.56, the second fastest high school time ever run in that event, ranking him 11th in the world all time. He is now committed to the University of Maryland, but make no mistake, the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics is the real target. Steve Lewis ran 43.87 at the 1988 Seoul Olympics at age 19. That is the under-20 world record. It has stood for 37 years. Quincy Wilson is 18, and he already has a 44.10. His improvement every single year has been so consistent that a sub-44 from a high schooler, something that has never happened in the entire history of track and field, is now a real conversation. That gold medal in Paris? It was just the beginning. At the 2025 Golden Spike meet in Ostrava, Czech Republic, something happened that stopped the athletics world cold. Zoe Hobbs came out of the blocks so low, she almost hit the ground. She stumbled, she wobbled, and then she just ran. By 30 meters, she was ahead of everyone. By the finish line, she had clocked 10.94 seconds, a brand new Oceania record, a brand new personal best, and proof that everything we thought we knew about her speed ceiling was completely wrong. She said it herself afterwards, "I'm mind blown." So are we, Zoe. So are we. But here's the thing. This did not come from nowhere. And if you go back and trace Zoe Hobbs' career from the very beginning, you start to realize that every single time the world put a limit on how fast she could go, she broke through it. Every single time. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. Zoe grew up in Stratford, a small town in Taranaki, New Zealand. She is Maori, of the Nguruhine Iwi. As a kid, she played basketball, netball, and gymnastics. But athletics was always where she was different. Her older brother Connor figured that out early. He used to line up all the older boys at school, cocky kids who were absolutely convinced no girl could outrun them. And he would point to his little sister and say, "She will beat you." And she did. Barefoot. On the grass. Every single lunchtime. By the age of 8, she was already running the 100 meters in under 15 seconds, breaking Taranaki age group records. Something special was happening, and most people around her still had no idea. She didn't commit fully to sprinting until her final year at New Plymouth Girls High School. Then in 2016, she made the move to Auckland, joined Coach James Mortimer's group at the Millennium Institute, and started building something real. It wasn't glamorous. She was studying for a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition full-time, squeezing in gym sessions before work and track sessions after. For years, she was doing all of this while holding down a full-time job as a nutritionist. Nobody outside New Zealand really knew her name, and her times, while improving, were not yet turning heads globally. 11.32, 11.27, 11.2E1, 11.55. Solid, respectable. But nowhere near what was coming. Then March 2023 happened. At the New Zealand National Championships in Wellington, Hobbs crossed the finish line and looked up at the board. 10.89 seconds. The crowd lost their minds. She lost her mind. The wind reading was plus 3.4 meters per second, above the legal limit, so it would not go in the record books officially. But something had shifted. 8 days later at the Sydney Track Classic, in legal conditions, she ran 10.97 seconds. She became the first woman from Oceania to ever break the 11-second barrier in the 100 meters. That is not a regional milestone. That is a mark that puts you in a completely different category of sprinter. The world finally started paying attention. People said, okay, that's probably her ceiling. 10.97, maybe 10.96 on a great day. She's fast, she's talented, but this is probably where it plateaus. 1 month later in Switzerland at the Resisprint International, she ran 10.96 seconds in the heats. That run did two things simultaneously. It broke her own Oceania record, and it met the automatic Paris 2024 Olympic qualifying standard of 11.07 seconds. In one race, she made history twice. She became the first New Zealand female sprinter to qualify for the Olympic Games 100 meters in nearly 50 years. The last being Sue Jacked at the 1976 Montreal Olympics. When she saw the time, she said she couldn't believe it, especially given the wind was unpredictable all day. That is the kind of performance that redefines a career. Budapest 2023 came next, the World Athletics Championships. She lined up in a semi-final described as the fastest in World Championship history. Sha'Carri Richardson, Shericka Jackson, Marie-José Toulouse-Smith, all in her heat. She ran 11.02 seconds and missed the final by 0.01 of a second, 100th. She ended that season ranked 10th fastest woman in the world. People still weren't fully convinced. They still thought she had found her level. March 2024, Glasgow, the World Athletics Indoor Championships. Hobbs reaches her first ever global championship final in the 60 meters and clocks 7.06 seconds, a new Oceania indoor record, finishing fourth, just 0.01 seconds off a bronze medal. Then Paris 2024, her Olympic debut. She progressed to the semi-finals of the 100 meters. Every barrier cleared, every ceiling lifted. She then went on to claim a podium finish at the prestigious Monaco Diamond League and reached the semi-finals of the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, finishing the year with a career-high world ranking of 12th. She is 27 years old. She is in the absolute prime of her career, and the progression speaks for itself. 11.32 to 11.15 to 10.97 to 10.96 to 10.94. Each time the world decided it had figured her out, Zoe Hobbs had other plans. So the real question now is not whether she has found her ceiling. The real question is, how much faster is she actually going to go?
Picture this. Lane 1, flooded. A Category 7 hurricane dumping water on the track. The 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. And a man who hasn't run sub 44 seconds in the open 400 since 2017 picks up a baton 10 meters behind the field. What happens next genuinely broke the internet. But to understand why that moment hit so differently, you have to go back to where this whole story started. August 14th, 2016, Rio de Janeiro. The Olympic 400-meter final. Every camera, every fan, every expert was locked onto the middle lanes. Nobody was watching lane 8. Nobody except Wade van Niekerk. When the gun fired, he ran the first 200 meters faster than any human being had ever run in a 400-meter race. The crowd didn't even know what they were watching. He crossed the line and dropped to one knee. The clock read 43.03 seconds. Michael Johnson's world record, set in 1999, stood for 17 years. Gone. Usain Bolt sprinted across the stadium just to find Wade and congratulate him personally. Johnson himself, working as a BBC commentator that night, said on air, "From lane 8, a world record. I have never seen anything from 200 to 400 like that." That was the moment the world learned the name Wade van Niekerk. And it wasn't just the 400. He became the only human in history to run sub 10 in the 100, sub 20 in the 200, and sub 44 in the 400. Not Usain Bolt, not Michael Johnson. Nobody. He backed up the Rio record with back-to-back world titles in 2015 and 2017. By October 2017, he had just gotten married to his wife Chesney. Adidas money, global fame, life was perfect. Then came the single worst decision of his career. October 7th, 2017, a celebrity touch rugby match at Newlands Stadium in Cape Town. His cousin Cheslin Kolb, the famous rugby player, was involved. Wade used to play rugby as a kid. He thought it would be fun. One wrong plant of his foot, one twist of his knee. He walked off the field not even knowing the damage was done. The scans came back, and the news was devastating. Completely torn ACL, medial and lateral meniscus tears. For a 400-meter sprinter whose entire race depends on explosive power and fluid mechanics, This wasn't just an injury, it was a near career-ending sentence. 2018 and 2019 were completely wiped off his results page. COVID took 2020. At the Tokyo 2021 Olympics, the man who owns the 400-meter world record couldn't even make the 400-meter final. That's how far he had fallen. The years that followed were painful to watch. 2022 World Championships in Eugene 5th place, 44.89. 2023 World Championships in Budapest 7th place, 44.11. Then at the Paris 2024 Olympics, he made a decision that shocked everyone. He skipped the 400 altogether and ran the 200. He was eliminated in the semifinals. Something had to change. And in early 2025, something did. He ended his training stint with Lance Brauman in Claremont, Florida, where he had trained alongside 100-meter Olympic champion Noah Lyles and returned home to South Africa. Back to Bloemfontein, back to the same tracks where he first became a world champion. And instead of hiring another elite international coach, he handed training duties to his stepfather Steven Schwartz. His agent Pete Van Zyl told the world, "Wade is officially back in South Africa. Steven is overseeing his training, and all the injuries and setbacks are now behind him." His wife Chesney was also expecting their second child. This wasn't just a training relocation. This was a complete reset of identity. Now, back to Tokyo. 2025 World Championships. Final day, men's 4x400-meter relay. The rain was the kind that analysts compared to the conditions oblique Seville raced in at Lausanne. Brutal, relentless, and slowing everyone down. When South Africa received the baton for the third leg, they were sitting in third place, roughly 10 meters behind. The United States had already posted splits of 44.6 and 44.22 through Vernon Norwood and Jaori Patterson. Botswana, with 400-meter gold medalist Kevin Akipi anchoring, was in second. Everyone expected Akipi, who had run 43.5 in the Open 400, to clock the fastest split of the day. Nobody was thinking about Wade. Wade took the baton in lane 1, the same lane where water was visibly kicking up with every stride athletes took, and he ran 43.26 seconds. The fastest relay split of the entire race by 0.67 seconds. Faster than the gold medalist team. Faster than anyone on that track. By the end of his leg, he had nearly pulled completely, even with Botswana. South Africa finished third. Botswana won gold in 2:57.76, with Akipi anchoring a 44.14. The United States and South Africa both finished at 2:57.83. And the conversation the next day wasn't about the gold medal. It was about what Wade did in lane 1 in a flood. Then came February 2026. Free State Athletic Stadium, Bloemfontein, season opener. He ran the 100 meters in 10.13, winning comfortably. Then he ran the 200 meters in 20.32.